Hi guys, welcome back to Lunatic Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Lori Lothian, and today we're going to talk about a wild, amazing, intense, magical, and mysterious and wow eclipse on the 19th degree of Gemini coming up on June the 10th. This solar eclipse, while it is a partial eclipse, is still quite strong by virtue of some of the stars and some of the asteroids involved in this story. So we're going to go ahead and do all signs, and there will be timestamps in the description box to jump ahead. And I want you to, however, please consider listening at first to the bigger, broader brushstroke of meaning for this eclipse that I'm about to go through for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes at most. Now, also, when you do look at all signs, your rising sign is the most accurate. Then you can look at your sun and your moon. Lastly, before I begin, please consider liking and subscribing and hitting the notifications button. It helps my channel grow. And please also look at the description box to see that I have a really cool thing going on right now, which is I'm trying to build my private mail list of my weekly forecast. I'm about 500 people now. And the way I do that is by enticing you with goodies like a 30% discount coupon, one-time use once you sign up for any reading with me. Also, you get into a draw every single month for a free reading. And every month I draw two free readings, the big group that everybody's in and anyone who signs up in the month. So last month of May, 66 new people signed up for my newsletter. And from those 66, I drew the names in a hat. 2 women, Donna and Nicole, won free hour-long readings on Zoom with me. So if that is something you think you might want to do and you think you're lucky, go ahead and just sign up for my newsletter down below. Okay, so let's get going. Now, first of all, let's talk about what an eclipse, solar eclipse is versus a lunar eclipse. And it tends to be that a lunar eclipse is revealing. It shows you something that you haven't been seeing. Secrets are spilled, perceptual shifts are abundant. We're able to see something. And now that sight, that perception, and that revelation can bring endings and beginnings. It can bring change. Keyword for all eclipses, solar and lunar, change. Lunar eclipse, a full moon in the sky. The moon is being eclipsed. Solar eclipse, the sun is being eclipsed because it's a new moon. So, I want to give you a little story, just for an example of a lunar eclipse. Get the idea that, even as an astrologer, I can see something but not understand it right away in my own chart. So there was a very precise, exact lunar eclipse on my IC on November 30th. Now, that's a revelation pending, right? November 30th, 2020, that I may have to move, or I might move, or I might relocate, or a big change in my home. IC, root, bottom of the chart, home. Well, guys, I'm like, oh, I saw that eclipse in November. And honestly, it didn't play out until April. You can look at both lunar and solar, honestly, as having at least a 6-month window in which it's going to show its hand, so this is too funny, but not funny, I had a big aha revelation, a bit of shock and awe even in April around some fiscal hygiene things and the province of Quebec. I don't want to go into all the details, but I'm moving back to British Columbia in order to be able to keep a little bit of the money I'm making rather than not keep it to do with, the variable tax rates in different provinces. Now, that said, a lunar eclipse is also very inward. Sometimes, all of the changes are inside of you. Whereas a solar eclipse, oh my God, you're looking at circumstantial change no matter what. So I had this perceptual shift in April, instigated by a lunar eclipse on my IC, the root of the chart. And the perceptual shift led to my decision to circumstantially change my life by relocating. However, a solar eclipse doesn't ask for you to perceptually shift and maybe then choose something. Oh, no. Solar eclipses bring on change, often outside of your control. Now, they also apply to people in power, whereas the moon is about the masses, the sun is about kings, right? And queens and people in power and governors and top dog energy. An eclipse to the sun was considered in the ancient world ominous. For who? For the king, for the leader. So you can also take the whole idea of the solar eclipse we're about to talk about. You can look for your own personal stuff, but it's also about the collective and the big picture story. Now, as well, that stupid thing on as well, think about it this way. That is that if you have planets around 19 degrees of Gemini or Sagittarius or Pisces or Virgo, those are the angles to the eclipse, especially 3 degrees on either side of 19 degrees. So 16 to 21 degrees of those signs, planets or angles such as your midheaven or your ascendant or your descendant or your IC. If anything's in the 19 degree-ish mark, 3 degrees on either side, in the signs I said, I'll repeat them again, where the eclipse is happening in Gemini, across the way in Sagittarius, and flanking either side, Pisces and Virgo, this is going to definitely have some personal impact on you as well. You can pretty well count on that, you know? I'm really relieved. I don't really have anything in the 19 degree marks of those signs. Okay, so the lunar eclipse was enough, guys. It was like, totally, I'm done. Let's talk about, I'm going to show you the chart, but let me just make some broader brushstrokes before you be seeing the chart with me. Okay, first of all, you know, I really love the minor asteroids. They tell a lot. They tell a lot. And Mercury is such a player in this eclipse. Why? He's such a player because he's right beside the darn eclipse. He's Cazimi the sun, hours after the actual eclipse. Well, the eclipse is in the morning, I think around 9 a.m., precise 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. By 5 p.m. on the day of the eclipse, June the 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to about midnight, Mercury is in the heart of the sun, Cazimi the sun. He is retrograding. He's close to Earth. You might want to check out my Mercury Cazimi prep class on the 9th. On the 9th to get ready for the 10th, where I'm going to teach you how to use this safely. This is not electional magic. We don't do magic on a wild card eclipse, but it's how to get into an energetic connection to Mercury to receive the highest gifts you can. Because this is his house, guys. So check the link below. It's only 25 bucks. Only 20 for my newsletter subscribers. If you think about it this way, Mercury's home is Gemini. That's one of his 2 mansions or homes that he owns, Virgo and Gemini, in the 12 houses of the zodiac, the 12 places. So he's hosting an eclipse of the sun and the moon because they're close to the node, right? The north node eclipse in this case. He's hosting this in his house. So he's kind of like, you know, got some potency here. And because he's retrograding, he's close to Earth, and his retrogradation times are magical. Synchronicity is going to go over the top. And it's where Mercury brings us into a deeper spiritual place within ourselves. And we can glean from the Cazimi insights, downloads, ideas. Really cool stuff can happen. Now, it's happening with an eclipse, which makes it even more powerful. Now, let's talk about asteroids. 2 asteroids sit with Mercury at the time of the eclipse. One of them is Pan. Yes, Pan, like in pandemic, as well as the god of shepherds and the meadows, and, you know, and the word panic and pandemic. And he was a son of Hermes. What is Hermes? Mercury. Mercury, it's the Greek version of Mercury. So the Roman version is Mercury and the Greek version is Hermes. So this is like Mercury sitting next to his kid, Pan. Now, Pan was like pandemonium, pandemic, panic, you know, getting out of control, kind of like, you know, what is the word I want? Like when people are out of control, like, there's a word, it's like a feeling of excess revelry, Dionysian extremes, you know, going to like into like a kind of a state of reckless ecstasy maybe, but there's another word, it's not coming to me. And this is a little worrisome, I do think, because there is still a pandemic, you know? I don't care how many vaccinated people there are new variants popping up every single day. And I'm wondering if this kind of wild abandon that Pan can stand for may have some story going on over the next 6 months after this eclipse of having to pull back from some of the way that we've decided that life is going to go back to normal. Damn the pandemic, right? Secondly, there's another asteroid sitting right there with Mercury, Sun, and Moon during this eclipse, and it's called Absolus. Absolus. And this asteroid was a centaur in Greek mythology, a representative of that centaur, who was a seer, a prophet, could see the future. In fact, he foresaw a wedding that would lead to a war between the Lapis and the Centaurs, 2 different types of beings in ancient myth. And so he basically has the ability to see where things are going to go wrong. Pan is there, pandemic, pandemonium. Sometimes people have associated this asteroid Absolus with paranoia and conspiracies that are real or imagined. There's an interesting mix there, isn't there? And kind of saving the day, but I'm not sure, is a warrior star, Aldebaran. Aldebaran is Archangel Michael, and it is a royal Persian star. And it has a lot to do with worldly success, charisma, ability to communicate. And that is sitting as well on this eclipse because it's on the node of the moon, the north node. So, however, you cannot take out of the story that Aldebaran, like Antares, are two stars that are associated with war and are fighting and conflict. And we see that this Absolus is a seer who sees the wedding turning into a war between centaurs and Lapis. So there's a cautionary note that there could be between this eclipse on June the 10th and roughly into December, around December 4th, when the next solar eclipse happens, unfortunately, a war. That there's going to be not a trade war, I mean some kind of relatively important war, solar eclipse leaders and kings coming into the public awareness. Now, you know, there's a lot of tension in Palestine between the Israelis and the Palestinians and that kind of thing. So maybe it's over there, but I just want you to be clear that this is in the energy of this eclipse, this possibility. Now, the thing I want to also mention is that the sun and the moon together are on two stars that are very positive, Rigel and Capella. Both of them have powerful blessings. A Rigel can bring prosperity. I would assume this is going to mean there's a return to what looks like a regular economy this summer, and people are buying and selling things, and it looks like the world is coming back to where it used to be. So even though I'm waiting for a massive market correction, it may not be till November. And so stock market, I mean. And so because this Rigel is there, material prosperity, luck with money, vigor, determination to get things going, good for independent business. If you have your own business and you're independently businessy like I am, this is a star that represents that. And finally, Capella is just a good fortune and a good luck star. And it has to do with intellectual giftedness. It has to do with abundance in various forms. So with this combination of two positive stars on the actual sun moon together, it does mitigate some of the more intensity that I saw with the asteroid Pan and Absolus, and of course the warrior star Aldebaran, however you say it. Now, Neptune's got a bit of involvement in the eclipse, so things are not what they seem. Neptune brings confusion. He's squaring the eclipse, so confusion, fogginess, not seeing things clearly, being unable to perceive what's really happening. Neptune can rule mysterious illnesses like viruses as well. And, you know, I like that the Cazimi happens. I like that Mercury's playing along. I think Mercury will bring a nobility to this eclipse in some way. He will have people retrograding, going back in their life over things. But with Neptune's involvement, can Mercury square Neptune prevail as the higher force? Well, he's at home in Gemini, so he's going to try to bring good information, going back, excavating information. Like, well, give me an example. Weird light in my house today. The example would be like the whole investigation of did the virus escape a lab in Wuhan? That's a Mercury retrograde, information, knowledge in Gemini, going backwards after being conjunct Pan and pandemic, right? But with that square to Neptune, will the truth ever be found? Will lies predominate? Will people try to obfuscate and confuse the story? In your own life, ask the same questions. Where are you looking to see something clearly through, like almost like the fog with the headlights of Mercury's perception, but you have to go backwards. You have to go back over old ground in some way in order to receive clear perception. What backwards movement do you need to do in your life that you have to go back and find out what's going on, what's really going on? So when we go to the all signs, I'll tell you where you need to go figure out what's really going on. All right, so that's that. Let's do the picture of the chart and then we'll do all signs. So, all right. And don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Please check out my Mercury class. It's going to be the day before the Cazimi, the day before the eclipse. It's a lovely 1-hour webinar. I'm going to give you some really good juice about how to best harness the Mercury magic. link in the description box, and sign up for my newsletter. You can be entered in a draw for a free reading every month, as well as get a 30% discount coupon off of readings with me. All right, so solar eclipse, here we have it around 6:30 a.m. I thought it was 9 a.m., but anyway, around 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Mercury will cazimi between about 5 p.m. and midnight later on in the day. So it's a big bundle of action, right? All in one place. Now, I didn't really talk a bit about this little flower, that's Juno. She's about contracts and partnerships, and, you know, especially like diligent, perseverant, committed partnerships and contracts and agreements, especially business partnerships and love partnerships. So she's a marriage goddess. So we'll keep her in mind as I go through the all signs, because she's basically in an opposition to this eclipse, and eclipses bring beginnings and endings. So for some of us, endings and beginnings, yes, in existing love and business partnerships. Now, especially with the South Node, letting go, let go, you know, let go. Oh, I didn't mean to put Aries in there, so just ignore that. Maybe I'll take her out for the all signs, because it will absolutely plague me that she's there, and I have nothing to say about her today. The female disruptor. Okay, I'm not sure I'm sharing. Where did it go? I lost it, guys. I lost it. There we go. So, and there you can see the square from Neptune to the eclipse zone of the chart, more precisely connecting to that Mercury, but the moon will move forward, of course, and be within the short time, I mean, really, making a perfected square. So there's a lot of fog around this eclipse for sure. You know, the news cycle has been interesting. Just, you know, just today I heard that Facebook banned Donald Trump from Facebook for 2 years. And we have a Mars opposing Pluto. Can't make this stuff up. Pluto and Capricorn, the established structures and authority. That's in this case, Facebook. Mars, you know, cutting, ending, severing, cutting his contact out of it. You know, Donald Trump has Mars on his ascendant, so he's very much influenced by Mars stuff. So anyway, just a little sidebar. So back to the story of the eclipse. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a sec. Am I? No, I think I'll keep going. So here we have this sky, the solar eclipse sky, and I would say that as we go through the all signs, I want you to really think about endings and beginnings in your life, because all this eclipse wants to do is make a change. And it's when we're stuck and stagnant and we're just in a groove that is locked us into some kind of, you know, it's a karmic thing. Eclipses are like, it's like where you've pre-written a script of where you need change and what you need to change in your life. Okay, especially if the eclipse is hitting any personal planet. So keep that in mind. And especially a lot of you people who have, you know, those angles that I mentioned already, the Sagittarius, the Gemini, the Pisces, and the Virgo folks, especially rising sign. You're getting a lot of energy from this eclipse cycle that started really moving into your life about late May, early June 2020, and completing out by the end of this year, more or less, into early 2022. All right, let's start all signs. Just before I do, I'm going to pause and get some water, which means I am going to have to stop the share to pause. I don't know why I always forget water. Hang on, guys. Okay, I got my water. Yeah, definitely need water when I'm talking this long. All right, moving on. Share the screen, back to the screen. Here we go, guys. I'm not even going to edit all this mush out of here. I'm just going to keep it. So let's start with Aries today. Aries sun, Aries moon, but especially Aries rising sign people. The eclipse is bringing change to you in your house of your siblings, trips and travel, skills-based learning and education, and the house of the goddess, diviners, prophets, oracles, and seers. And sort of merchandising, selling, and marketing can also fit here. You know, often online world, social media world, and especially website world, that kind of thing is here. And it has to do with this being the house of the goddess Selene in the ancient mythology, in ancient Hellenistic tradition. And so the house of the goddess is about that, you know, those trips and travels and those barters and those trades that people were making in the ancient world, and consulting the oracles as well. Now, if you have an eclipse here, you Aries people, you're probably going to see some kind of shifting of the relationship you have with either a sibling, sometimes an aunt or an uncle, or a close friend who's like a family member. All right. And it could be for the better. Don't feel anxious about it. It could be a good shift, right? Where things are stronger or more connected. And you may also, especially if you guys are traveling at all, short trips and travel, experience some kind of breakthrough or clarity or some new direction just from a trip. Maybe you take a trip and you think it's just going to be a fun thing. And the next thing you know, you are having a huge breakthrough because you traveled. Now, of course, I had that moment of fear that I forgot to re-record, but I'm sure I did. So I do it every time. I also would say, you know, if you want to learn a skill, this eclipse can open the doorway to learning. And because there's a retrograde Mercury involved, I'm an Aries sun and moon, you may go back and deepen your learning in something you already know. I'll give you my example. My teacher of Nightlight Astrology fame, Achuta Baba, is teaching his advanced second-year Hellenistic program in June. And guess what? I'm in it, right? So you can... I'm going back to learn with somebody I've learned with before, skills-based learning. So if some opportunity shows up for you in the next 6 months to learn something, you should jump on it because the eclipse is bringing it into your life for a reason. Watch out for confusion, delusion, and issues to do with your 12th house. So certainly this is a house of gurus and spiritual teachers. Don't fall for one right now. You could be the wrong guy or girl for you. But Neptune is a dream god and he's in a dream house. And so meditations and reveries and dreams at night can bring a huge amount of clarity and insight. I mean, I don't care that it's a square. Mercury, the psychopomp, the underworld god, you know, he's the only god who can go between the underworld and the upper world, between Olympus and the underworld, is bringing some nocturnal secrets to you. Pay attention to your dreams. Partnerships can blow up or fall apart from foreign lands. Juno in the house of foreign lands, or higher education. So if you have a contract that might blow up or fall apart, it could be to do with a school or a higher education setting, or love or romance in a foreign land, or it could also connect to a spiritual authority, that you might have a break with a spiritual authority figure of some sort. That applies to me. I just kind of, you know, when to fold them, I just folded them with an old guru friend of mine who I just realized you can't deal. Sometimes you realize that there's no recoverables, and that just happened to me. So I folded and gave up on that. So I'm an Aries sun and moon. And you see how it applies to sun and moon, right? But it really, if I was an Aries rising, all of this would be even more intensely true. So remember, Aries, this is a cadent house. And so things happen quickly here. Change happens rapidly in a cadent house in the sense that it's a busy house. You may have a lot of things change and begin from this mercurial third house, okay? It may not just be one thing that's shifting. So keep your eyes on that. Oh, and because that Lapith, because the Absolus, you know, the one who could see the future about the coming war, is involved as an asteroid, and the third house is seership, your own intuition, or you could consult an oracle who would give you an amazing heads up about like a warning that you need to hear about calamity ahead. So be willing to consult the oracle over the next 6 months, whether you're tarot card readers or astrologers, whatever you use. All right, let's keep moving forward. I have a feeling, I'm having the feeling I am recording, because you can tell I'm forgot to re-record anxiety. Wouldn't that be awful? Mercury retrograde moment, guys. Really would be. Did I anchor this to Aries? Oh, darn it, I did. I have it anchored to the Aries 0 point. Okay, I have to fix that. And we will shift that out of that to a new host system. I'll stop the share while I do that so I'm not annoying you guys. It's fixed. Let's go ahead and do Taurus so we can give them the next story of the sky story for the Taurus rising. Taurus rising, especially then Taurus sun and moon. Okay, but we love the rising sign. It's the best. for accuracy. All right. So Taurus sun, moon, and especially rising sign, you're having a money story unfold here. New beginnings in the monetary part of the chart. This is earnings. This is the resources and possessions, the way you bring things to you, that first house Taurus being. And so you can expect some significant change in the money story over the next 6 months with Mercury there, the god of marketing, merchandising, and commerce. Well, maybe you're going to start learning how to sell. Maybe you're going to create your own business, but maybe also it's just like, hey, you're in the money. You know, you're learning about bringing money to you, and money to you comes. It's a solar eclipse. Now, you know, all the eclipses are going through this part of your chart, right? Midsummer of 2020 to the end of this year into early spring, so of 22. So this is a theme, right? But this is a north node eclipse, not a south node. This is to propel you in the direction of achieving and receiving more money. It's a directional, it's like, you know, this way to more money. And, you know, I feel like you can use your intuition because we've got that absolus there to see the way forward around financial choices, jobs you want to say yes or no to, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Some of you will be employed in a new place because of this eclipse. And some of you might even be doing your own business, no doubt. Rigel, the star of business, purposeful business activity and enterprise, the guy that's like the business star, is sitting on this eclipse. And general material good fortune, Capella is there too in a money house. So yay for you, Taurus, sun, moon, and ascendant. Your money picture looks brighter. You're going to let go of and release some of the eighth house money. That can be money that has contracts and agreements around it. So less reliance on spousal money. You could have breaking away from dependency money forms. I don't know what that might be, you know, like your credit card, you know, stop living off your credit card. Moving away from forms of money that you have to leverage, like bank loans, credit card debt, etc., and into like more hustle, more make your own money, more get your own money. And you may even have some kind of break with someone who's supplying you money, and therefore you have to bring your own money into the story. Now, confusion can happen with Neptune in your 11th house, with your larger social circles, and even with your aspirations and your goals and your dreams for your life. And with Neptune there, well, you know, he's been there since 2011. You guys are like looking for soulful purpose. You want to find a deeper layer to meaning in your life when it comes to your dreams and goals. And so Neptune has been pressuring that story for a long time. Now, some friends could be deceptive. Anytime Mercury is square to Neptune, somebody who's a friend, especially in larger social circles, could deceive you or manipulate or lie to you. So keep yourself open to perceptual questioning. Is this true? Do I believe this person? Ask yourself those questions. The eclipse is stamping in, though, the idea that your hopes, dreams, and wishes over and how you make money are coming into an alignment. And, you know, the 11th house is great gains from one's career path. It is a money house as well. And so you might also make money through Neptunian endeavors, photography, music, high art, film, video. All right. Keep it in mind, like YouTube and Instagram TV are Neptunian. All righty. Let's move on. Hey, Geminis, sun, moon, and especially the rising sign folks. This is all about you, okay? This is your eclipse. This is your north node in the house of your identity. Huge event. And if you listen to the beginning of this reading, and I hope you did, you know, I mean, the beginning of this recording, you'll see all the great stuff that's going on there and all the intensity that's going on there with asteroids and stars. If anybody needs to go back and listen to the first 10 minutes, it's you. Now, this is going to be about letting go over here of some kind of business partnership, client arrangement, or marriage, long-term committed relationship, all of that. There is a Juno, that commitment goddess on the south node. This is almost like she's thrown in the towel, right? She's perseverant, sticks with it no matter what. But with the south node there, she's like, forget it. I'm out of here. This is no longer stickable to. So there's a potential for the next 6 months for some of you Geminis to break contract, to break agreement, to end something. Well, you fortify and strengthen and move more into you are being yourself. You are finding yourself. You are stepping into yourself. You are like, you know, mercurial being that you are, and mutable and changeable and kind of fickle. This is a call over the next 6 months to dig into you and being more who you really are. I would say too, because you have Absolus there, the seer, seeing into yourself, being a seer for yourself, seeing into deeply into who you want to be and what you want to become in this life. You know, it's a physical body house, right? The first house is your physical wellness. And I'm liking the fact that Capella, a positive star, is announcing this eclipse. Be careful you don't do any wild, reckless abandon, because Pan is there as well. Pandemic Pan, you know, but he's also kind of like Dionysian revelry guy, son of Hermes / Mercury. So be careful that you don't overdo things, but otherwise the health story looks pretty sweet here. You could have new beginnings and health protocols, of course, in some way, because it's an eclipse for something new to come in, or end ways that you're, you know, taking care of the body that no longer serve. With Neptune in the 10th house of career, a lot of you Geminis are confused for quite a while about your perfect career path. Now, who has Neptune in the 10th house? J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter author fame. It's a great placement if you want to be a guru, a spiritual teacher in life, right? Or a writer about magic. And you're not born with this. This is the sky now. The sky, though, the Neptune transit since 2011 into your 10th house is trying to get you to make your highest to create the highest vision of your career possible. All right. So it's like, get out of the muggle world with your career. If you can, find what makes you dream, the big dream of what you want for your career. Right. But there's a square from Neptune to Mercury, which can be deception, right? Confusion, even lies by people. Don't believe everybody in the career zone, like your boss, you know, higher ups, people in authority may not tell you the truth. Be careful over the next 6 months that you really use that intuition that Absolus can bring you to look beyond the surface narrative that you're being told. I hate the word fake news. Like, I hate it. All right. It's just hate it. But in this case for you, be careful for like fake work news, right? Someone like making a story about the company is going to be just fine, but it's going to, you know, be insolvent by the end of the year. Keep your eyes on the ball of your own clarity about this, okay? Don't trust what you are told, or what spin or yarn or storytelling thing is coming out from bosses or career people around you. Be questioning all of that. Otherwise, if you have your sun, moon, or ascendant pretty close to that 19-degree mark where the eclipse is happening, especially you Geminis with the sun there, you know, so let me just think about that, Geminis with the sun there. Let me do the mental math. This is like people born in the second decan of Gemini. So if you have basically anywhere between roughly the 29th of May to June the 9th or so, or 10th or so. Well, it's kind of a little bit later than that. Sorry. I'd say that anybody with their sun between, if you're a Gemini and Gemini sun or ascendant, but sun especially, and your sun is sitting, and you were born anywhere around June the 3rd to the 14th, even just in that zone, this may be a very important eclipse for you. All right. Eight, as my daughter would say. Yeah, I don't do math on the fly. So the sun moves a degree a day. So you can kind of suss it out, you know. May 21st, you know, ish, 2021st is when it transits over. And by the time you get to like June 1st, you've got a sun close to 10 degrees. And by the time you get to the 20th, we got a sun close to 20 degrees. Okay, so yeah, sorry about that. That was really long-winded. Let's say that you're born between, forget it. You know, I can't think right now. Yeah. Let's say you're born between June the 5th and June the 15th. This eclipse, if your sun is there, this eclipse is very, very important for you. Okay. Cancer sun, moon, and especially rising sign. You're not going to see this picture out in the world very much, this eclipse. This eclipse is happening in the inside, interior, hidden trapdoor closet of the zodiac, that 12th house. This is your unconscious, your dreams at night, your inner life. This is a hidden house. It doesn't see the first doesn't see it. You are the first house being, and you cannot see what goes on in that 12th house. It's hidden. So it's often going to play out as other people, if anything, like, and because it's a house of incarceration, confinement, solitude, ashrams, hospitals, moksha, enlightenment, a few things to say. You may end up with a solar eclipse having to care for somebody who is ill in a hospital setting sometime over the next 6 months. You may also decide to visit an ashram or find a place of solitude and sanctuary. And that energy of desire for enlightenment and sanctuary and solitude and breakthroughs there, that's been going on, right, for a while, because the North Node moved into your 12th house back in the late part of May 2020 and continues till the end of the year. So if you're a Cancer rising, especially, you know, the eclipses are asking you to focus inward and, you know, your own self-undoing, like addictions and behavior patterns. I know a Cancer person, sun, moon, whatever, who actually, you know, kind of tapered off the wine. So, you know, whether you're a sun Cancer, moon Cancer, or a especially rising sign, some of your self-undoing patterns, habits, addictions are being asked to be released as the North Node pushes its energy field through that 12th house. And this eclipse could ask you to let go of a work situation that doesn't work anymore. You know, it's contractual business and love agreements in the sixth house, like time to fold them in work. Is it a client? Is it well, it's more likely the workplace, you know, the company you work for, the situation, the employees, or the employee, you're an employee, so it involves your coworkers, or you employ people, it involves your employees. But in that sixth house zone of work, you are going to break away from something. And, you know, that would be good for you, because the South Node is trying to get you to let go and release that which no longer serves and works for you. All right. There's confusion with Neptune in the ninth house about things to do with foreign lands, things to do, Neptune up here, with travel to foreign lands, your dharma, your true calling, your true purpose. This is a big time to question that, because Neptune has been in that ninth house for a long while, 2011, trying to get you to spiritualize your purpose, trying to get you to get into the unconditional love and the vast spaciousness and the magical qualities of Neptune. And with this Neptune square Mercury during the eclipse, there's almost a stamping into this next 6 months of you being confused about maybe purpose, foggy, not sure. And if you have a spiritual guide or guru, and Neptune squares Mercury in the 12th, the moksha house, enlightenment, you would probably want to be very careful that this person is being honest and that you can trust them. Okay. Any of you Cancer risings thinking of studying something, going back to school, mercurial professions, magic, mystery, enlightenment, film, photography, because you learn higher education in the ninth house. So that might not be a bad thing for you, but just be careful that you read the fine print. There's a square from Mercury, what's hidden from view. You know, you pay for the course and find out that if you drop out, you have a penalty rather than just lose your money. I don't know. Read the fine print. All right. And last, the Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, Mercury is retrograding, right? So you'll go back over old ground in terms of your addictions, your self-undoing, your enlightenment story, right? You're going to cover ground that you've covered before, but go maybe a little bit deeper this time around. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This actually is a good one for you guys because it's happening in a good place. The house of good spirit, pennies from heaven, windfalls, great gains from your career, success, sometimes a little bit of fame, rewards and awards, karmic rewards, friends as allies and benefactors. I mean, hello. It's a good house, got a good daemon in there, the good spirit. So yes, it's an eclipse. We don't always want change, but at least you Leos are having change in a positive place in the chart. So you may have Mercury incite a new beginning in your social circles, joining new groups, Mercury, a message from a friend in the 6 months after the eclipse, wanting to help you, support you, give you a lift, good money news in your career where you're offered a bonus or promotion or extra juice. All of this is possible. Certainly windfalls can happen here, certainly buy a lottery ticket. Why not? Now, you may have to let go of a relationship that's romantic, okay? You've been clinging and making agreements to stick with some romantic love affair, but now you realize, Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant, that it's time to let go. This is a house of children. If you've been trying to get pregnant and it's been a struggle, soften up and stop right now. It may be a letting go. But on the other hand, with the South Node there, sometimes it means a karmic soulmate baby pops through the ethers into your womb or into your womb of your spouse. With Juno there, though, what agreements have you made with your children? What agreements have you made with a beloved lover, a sex partner that is time to release and let go of? Right? Even if it's your marriage partner, this is the sex part of the chart. Did you say I'd have sex with you every Sunday and now you don't really want to do it anymore? Okay, what agreements around sexuality may you have to break? And, you know, this is a muse-driven house. This is creativity, inspiration, and stuff. The South Node is possibly sometimes bringing you inspiration and muse-driven insights from another time, another life. But the focus is certainly on getting your social energy on, right? And if you have children, you know, the South Node is not let go of your children, like ignore them. It would be let go of the attachment to them, let go of your over helicoptering obsession with them, focus elsewhere. Let your focus be in that 11th house for a change. Your intuition is strengthened in the 11th house. So certainly you can have a lot of success in your career because this is the financial and reputation gains from the 10th house. So use your intuition to follow your nose about what things to do and all of that over the next 6 months to make it a great thing in your career. Confusion in the money house, spousal money, joint money, money you're sharing with another, bank loans and credit cards and all that stuff. You know, investment monies. You may have some foggy confusion, but also watch out for deception, right? Mercury, god of mercantile and commerce and stock markets, is squaring Neptune in the money house of things like investments. And for a lot of you, Leo, sun, moon, and ascendant, this foggy confusion at best is something you want to really suss out and look more deeply at over the next 6 months. But you want to watch for deception as well. So don't trust any old financial advisor to tell you what's best for you. They may not be outright deceiving you, but they may be wrong. They may be confused. So be careful around that. Spousal money too. Is spouse hiding money from you? You might find out about it though, because that eclipse can bring hidden things out into the open. Or is your spouse deceiving you about joint finances? All righty. When I say spouse, it can be your live-in long-term love affair. It doesn't have to be, here comes the bride and groom. All right. So Mercury, sun, moon, and ascendant. You guys are experiencing this in the career part of the chart, and it's a new beginning. A lot of you Virgo risings are starting brand new, something super fresh. Don't forget, eclipses have been moving through the quarter of your 10th house for a while, since midsummer last year when the North Node got there. But other than the December 14th eclipse, other than the November 30th eclipse at 8 Gemini lunar, right, revealing something you need to see about your work or your career, this is the first solar eclipse in the North Node zone in your 10th house, like North Node propelling you to something, you know, big here, like trying to get you to change something, right? And change is coming. I mean, a lot of you Virgo risings are going to start new career paths. And I don't just mean your job. Like I worked at Starbucks and now I work in a coffee shop. I mean, significant reorientation toward how you want to output your career in this life. But it certainly can start off with a change in job or a start of a new job. So, but there's a lot of momentum here for Virgos about the career story. Yay for you. And, you know, use your intuition. Absolus is sitting there with Mercury, bringing you intuition up there. You know, Rigel, the god of business prosperity for purposeful, self-directed enterprise. You may want to start your own business. Maybe you won't even Virgo risings want to be employed, but you've got some good luck up here. Also some, you know, just good fortune with Capella and Rigel, the two stars at the top of the chart. letting go of things in the root of the chart, letting go of your home. Some of you will have moved already. You will have felt this eclipse, even though it is on June the 10th, boiling up up to like 3 weeks, 4 weeks beforehand. So there's relocation and moving for a lot of you, and breaking agreements around leases. My daughter did that. She's a Virgo rising. She had to break her lease in Montreal, agreements and contracts around real estate in order to move back to Vancouver. But goodness gracious, we found a subletter and everything worked out. And also, you know, letting go of the family of origin stories. You know, that fourth house is your ancestral line and your mom and dad, and growing up in your family of origin, and letting go and softening is one of the calls of all the beliefs you adopted. I'll give you an example. Like my daughter is like in university, and there's a huge school ethic in her dad's side of the family and mine as well, around it's important to get a university education. I mentioned to her, why don't you just take a college course? You know, why not do like a college? And I said, oh no, I need to be at university kind of vibe coming out of the family of origin story. And I would always encourage people to look at their fourth house and ask what messages are being conveyed from the family of origin. And in this case, it's Jupiter messages, right? For my daughter, Virgo rising, the bottom of the chart is a Jupiter story, right? Sagittarius, Jupiter, what's Jupiter rule? Higher education, education and learning. Okay, so just think about it that way. Now, whoever is a Virgo rising, watch. First of all, remember, you're one of the big ones that get the angular eclipse energy, right? It's angling from 10-4 into self and other axis. So again, if you're a Virgo rising, sun or moon, and you have planets between 16 degrees or angles like your midheaven, between 16 degrees and 21 degrees of the sign of Virgo, or this, you know, whatever, because that's your sign. So is your sun within those degrees? Hello, pay attention, right? Really want to know that. You want to pay attention. Is my sun or my moon or my rising sign between those degrees? Of course, I'm going to stop and try to do the math again, right? So are you born roughly between, in general, the 5th to the, let's say the 5th to the 15th, make a nice broad stroke. Roughly, do you have a birthday for sun signs between the 5th and the 15th of September? Because this will be a very important eclipse for you. All right, I hope I got the math right. I have no math mind on the fly. All right, watch out for that foggy confusion in the house of marriage and business partnerships. For some of you Virgos, your primary love relationship is foggy, and it has been a foggy challenge anyway to have Neptune going through there since 2011, but it can bring a soulmate into your life. However, there is possibility for deception from somebody that's a significant business partner or other in your life. With that square to Mercury, that's manipulation or lies or just plain out, you know, confabulation. So, you know, really question the person you're with, whether it's your business partner or your marriage partner or your long-term love partner, and dig in with questions that say, is this true? Are you telling me the truth? Make your person accountable. Okay. That's a prescription for the next 6 months. I mean, some people can be in a partnership where the person's not telling you the truth, but maybe because they're afraid to, or because they're trying to play nice or whatever. You need to be the one who takes the initiative to ask for truth in your love stories, long-term committed ones, and in your business partnerships over the next 6 months. Libra sun, Libra moon, and especially rising sign. Now, hey, any of you Libras who are involved in book publishing or foreign lands or higher education, or are really into making your life's purpose, your dharma, really active, that's what this eclipse cycle is for. This started in the summer of 2020 and continues into early spring of 22. Now, if you're a teacher or a professor or a mentor or a guide for others, this is an ideal time, this June eclipse, to really ramp it up. Uh-oh, did I start the recording again? Oh, I did. I do this all the time, guys. I'm like, am I recording? Am I recording? Am I recording? I am. Sorry, Libra. You got my paranoia. It's Mercury retrograde. I am very paranoid. I've had some weird tech glitches. So anyway, yeah, so look at this, eh? I mean, this is a lovely action up here. You can be very lucky, successfully prosperous when the those themes happen right now. And new beginnings here. Maybe if you're a teacher or a mentor or a guide or whatever to others, you're going to, over the next 6 months, discover a new direction and end the old ways of doing things. You're going to let go of the shorter term education stuff. This is skills-based learning. And you're breaking agreements and contracts down there. Now, this can be an ending with a sibling as well, and with Juno, it's kind of like devotion and dedication, or a perseverant connection to a sibling is coming to an end. For some of you, Libra, rising, sun and moon, the South Node going through the sibling house cannot just be a disagreement or a disconnection, but a loss of a sibling as well. I know a Libra who just lost a sister. And, we don't want to see these things in the sky. It's important to know what the sky is saying. This eclipse has already been in play, this one that we're talking about, but all of the eclipses for Libras have been asking to let go of third house things. Now, for Libras who have been involved in online world stuff, let go of the online busy hustle. That's the third house. Move into the ninth house. Start your own school. Start your own academy. Become a professor of something. Start your own higher education system. That would be good. Write books. House of publications. You'll do really well. A lot of Libras, Libra library book, with Gemini ruling the ninth, are excellent writers and book writers and get things published, okay, or publish them themselves. There's a new beginning here. So if you're working on a book, you'll probably get a publisher, or you'll get an agent, or you'll get it done between now and 6 months, this eclipse. You can have prosperity for anything you're writing now, any book that you're creating. Watch out for the deception here with colleagues and coworkers, or confusing health problems that you can't get your finger on. Neptune in the 6th house, but Mercury square, it could be outright confusion, but deception as well. If you have colleagues and coworkers, watch out. Some of them may not be telling you the truth. If you employ people, then your employees could be deceptive. Now, Neptune is film, and this is the house of right livelihood. Do more video. If you're like Instagram or YouTube, go for it. You could do better by doing more of that. As just a general story I want to mention to you, Libras. Oh my God, I'm having a hot flash. Oh my God, I'm not going to stop. Moving on. Oh, foreign lands, by the way, Libras. Opportunity over the next 6 months for some breakthrough good news coming through from a foreign land, someone from a foreign land, or an opportunity to journey to a foreign land for something very successful financially and business-wise. Oh man, hot flash. I should turn the fan on. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising sign. Wow, I'm going to have to get a fan going. I'll be right back. I am so hot right now. Oh, I'm so hot. Holy man. Okay, just stop recording. Okay, I'm back. Holy, that was hot. I got the fan going. Ooh, it's hot in Montreal today. It's a bit like a bit of a heat wave. And back to sharing for Scorpio. Sorry, Scorpio, you got a choppy reading today. I apologize. Scorpio's rising sun and moon. Well, hey guys, look, this is happening in your 8th house of money. Now, this is really good for you. This North Node eclipse in the house of money is propelling you to great financial gains to do with things you share with others, like a business partnership. A spouse can make a lot of money, divorce, inheritance, alimony, spousal support, and I said inheritance, a financial investment paying off. Leveraging something with a business or bank loan. Okay, whatever it is, this is a good money story. And over the next 6 months, money improves for you. Certainly with a good wisdom and being careful, you could invest in some stock or Bitcoin or something, but like wait till, use your intuition, because, the whole Absolus, the psychic dude, the centaur who foresaw the wedding calamity that led to a war, is in the 8th house of money. So you can see calamity coming. Watch out, the stock market's going to crack or something. Use your intuition, but there's also opportunity in your 8th house as well for some great financial gains that way over the next 6 months. Now, you have to let go though of the hustle. This is like time to stop working in the sort of, I got my paycheck, my 401k, my earnings, my, my possessions, like, you know, getting my paycheck, my salary, you know, doing that kind of work, that money from that direction is time to release that. If you've been working really hard, you probably already felt this. I mean, the eclipses started in the summer of 2000. And, you know, you've been weaning off of that kind of the more, you know, paychecky, you know, one-on-one maybe, or hard work ways to receive money. You're trying to leverage yourself right now, create wealth in a new way. And whether you like it or not, you know, an inheritance is possible. Some of you Scorpio risings especially will receive an inheritance or knowledge of a pending inheritance between now and, let's say, December 4th, 2020. All right, 21. And that's just what happens sometimes. And the North Node there says it's like, it's going to be good for you in a way, you know, it's going to help you in life, let go of the grind of the second house hustle. You know, breaking a contract in the second house could be breaking away from a source of income and like quitting a job or something like that. Now, Neptune is deceiving you sometimes in the fifth house right now because he's squaring Mercury, and that kind of stamps into the sky for your 6 months. What is it that you're not being clear? You're not seeing clear. You're all fogged out about romantic love, sexuality, your hopes, dreams, and your sexuality, your babies and children, right? Like, do I want them, or are you confused about your own kids? Now, Neptune, you know, in a square to the Mercury in the 8th house could be also to do with if you were dating somebody or you wanted to date someone in the next 6 months, I'd be very careful that they don't try to make a bid for your money, you know what I mean? Or that they're sort of duplicitously trying to get some of your money from you. So that's kind of a weird one, but it kind of looks like that. And when it comes to children, I mean, maybe you want children, don't want children, but with Neptune here, you've been confused about the question since 2011. And Mercury is in a square. So yeah, I mean, your romantic love partner, the one you're with, could not tell you that they're pregnant if you're a guy. Right? They know they're pregnant if they're a woman. So that's another example, right? Or not use birth control so they can get pregnant, but not tell you. So those are weird ways that could look. If you're a musician or an artist, a photographer, a filmmaker, Neptune in your 5th house since 2011 has been giving you a huge amount of inspiration, inciting the muse, really sweetly trying to support you there. And so keep that in mind. And money that you get through other means can be a part of the narrative over the next 6 months, where you can take some of that money and use it in the zone of the chart. But again, watch out for any deceptions as well. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Now, first of all, Sagittarius, you're one of those signs that gets a lot of the energy, right? Just like I already mentioned, the Virgos, the Pisces, the Geminis, and the Sagittarius. So this is big for you, no matter what. If your rising sign, your sun or your moon is in around 5 to 15 degrees of the sign, did I say 5 to 15 degrees? Oh, sorry, that's not what I wanted to say. If you have anything close to 19 degrees, 16 to 21 degrees, I'm sugar line. Of the sign of Sagittarius, like your ascendant is in that range, this is an important eclipse, or your sun. And in terms of sun sign people, okay, so roughly the 5th of the month to the 15th of the month are highlighted for you guys, right? In terms of, this is an important eclipse cycle, but it's for you guys in, those of you born from the 5th to the 15th of the month of December. So if that's true of you, then your sun sign birthday is getting impacted by this eclipse as well. You want to let go of some kind of agreements that you've made, Juno, South Node, and it's a self-agreement. What did you commit to yourself? Like, I took a holy vow that I'll never, ever again, or that I should do this or do that. It's almost like, where did you commit to something to yourself that you no longer think is valid? Like, I'll never again do this, or I should always do that, or I promised myself this. So there's a whole eclipse cycle that started last summer and doesn't finish up to the end of this year asking you that question. But I also say this Juno piece right now, is really making it acute. What is it? Because Juno's in your first house, like most of 2021. You know that? She's like retrograding there. So, I mean, what agreements did you make with yourself that you need to let go of? She gets out of there in November. Did you make an agreement that you no longer want to stick with? And can you honor that you've changed your mind? Some of you guys are going to feel as well with the North Node in the 7th that there's a lot of emphasis in your life on your partner, if you're married especially, or a business partner if you have one. And this eclipse right now is really trying to change something there, right? The focus is fine on your partner, your business partner. It's nothing wrong, or your client, audience, and other with that. The North Node wants you to pay attention to those things. However, this eclipse could make a change in the story somehow. It could really change the narrative in some significant way with a business partner or a long-term committed relationship. Watch out for deception here with Neptune. Like Neptune is down here and he's like in the house of the home. Who in your domestic environment may be deceiving you, who's also connected to your marriage house? Well, obviously it could be a spouse. They may manipulate, deceive, or put a foggy, glamour on and try to make you see things that aren't there or tell you stories that aren't true. It's a little bit like the Virgos, you got to really question the one you're with and ask for clarity and truth and be discerning, be very, very discerning. With Neptune here, be careful with real estate purchases or leases or anything to do with home improvements. Somebody could deceive you, especially Mercury in the 7th, clients, customers, audience, other business partners. Be careful around partnering up in real estate right now. Wait a bit. I mean, it's a deception factor, right? That you may not be seeing clearly because of Neptune here. Yeah, something like that. I mean, certainly you've been confused around home, Sagittarius rising, sun and moon for a while, and probably want to live near water as well. Confusion about where your real anchor is and where do you want to live and what's the place for you. That's been going on since 2011. You probably have tried to live near Neptunian zones, right? Water, Pisces, but there's still been a lot of confusion. And now Neptune is past the halfway mark, so he's trying to bring clarity. Certainly there's a strong call to be on water. All right, I think that's about it. So Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising sign. This is subtle. This is like the Cancer rising folk. This is not like clobbering you over the head. The eclipses are moving through very houses in aversion to the ascendant. You can't see what's really happening. It's inside, behind the scenes, under the curtain, behind the curtain. There's things going on, and the karmic axis and the magical axis and the non-ordinary axis of the chart. You are being asked to let go of some kind of past life, conundrum, some kind of old pattern, some kind of self-undoing and habit. I mean, this is a great time caps to let go of addictions, especially. And you may also, over this eclipse cycle in the next 6 months, let go of a karmic relationship. The South Node with Juno, who did you agree to be with? And you now have to let go of that relationship. And it is karmic, okay, Capricorns, especially rising sign, especially for the rising. But now it's time to release, surrender, and let go. Now, in the even a spiritual teacher, time to surrender, release that spiritual teacher from your life. Now, you can also look at the North Node in the 6th house as a strong call since June of last year, 2020, to really refine your work, the way you do the work, the routines of your daily work, to refine your health and your health protocols. And this new moon, this eclipse, could bring you a great new beginning in your health, as well as the work routines that you're engaged in. So that's a promise over the next 6 months. Yay! Okay. And Mercury can bring you study and learning about new health protocols as well, and messages and news about new ways to maintain health and avoid sickness. Over the next 6 months, an eclipse in the house of sickness could bring sickness, but you're going to find a solution to it. It's a wake-up call, not a breakup, not breaking you down, but waking you up to ways you have to better fortify your health and wellness. Alrighty. Watch out for some confusion or deception coming from the third house. Now, this is siblings. This is aunts and uncles. This is local friends, like the local hood, the crew, and also trips and travel. And a trip and a travel can't deceive you, right? Capricorns, like, so let's talk about people, really. What Neptunian foggy figures from the siblings or the aunts and uncles' house could try to pull the wool over your eyes with an untrue tale? Really question, especially the siblings. It's really the house of siblings, and ask them, are you telling me the truth? Over the next 6 months, if a sibling is telling you something, I wouldn't believe it straight up, and I would take it on yourself to ask the question if it's true. Merchandising, marketing, and selling is a third house thing. There's some confusion around that here, especially in the work environment. But that's a dicey one to actually parse how to say that for you. So I'm going to go back to people like aunts, uncles, and siblings and cousins. Those extended family members could be potentially leading you astray. And so double down on being conscious of asking, is this true? This is me, guys. Aquarius rising. Yay for me. Aquarius, sun, moon, and ascendant. Watch for your creativity to come out of the closet and go over the top. This is the muse house, dudes. We're all like, you know, us Aquarians going to be inspired over the next 6 months creatively, you know, and having fun and play and joy and pleasure with the North Node there, as we're also inspired and maybe more creative than we've ever been. Now, independent business enterprise can be associated with the fifth house. So things will go well because the god of prosperity, I mean, Rigel, you know, for material prosperity from a business activity is in this eclipse. So expect you Aquarians who are self-employed and do your own thing to have a kick-ass 6 months ahead. This is going to be a really good time for you guys. Your children, good news for your children, right? There's a powerful, you know, bunch of stuff going on here. Rigel and Capella, the stars of luck and prosperity and abundance. And, you know, your children is the fifth house, and, you know, the North Node and fixed star Aldebaran, you know, Archangel Michael. This is strong for your kids. You can kind of say your kids get derivative collateral goodness from this eclipse, and things will improve for your children over the next 6 months. The North Node has been going through your house of children since June, and you're really focused on your kids, right? You're drawing your attention to your children in a way over this time until the end of this year into early spring of 22. But that's okay. It's time to also, you know, what do you get out of bed in the morning for? Besides a good cup of coffee, what makes you joyful? Where are you sparked? Joy spark, joy spark. That's where the eclipses are focused, and romance and love and sexuality and fun and play and pleasure are highlighted during this cycle for you, and letting go of old forms of connection to friends and allies and larger social circles that no longer suit or fit you, letting go of the old and engaging the new. I'm going to speak to this for myself. You know, I certainly have a couple of sort of flirty romantic things that have happened since June with a couple of fellas. And I'm sort of getting back in the groove of feeling like, yeah, I could get into a relationship again after solo celibate me for like 5 years. But also, I find that I have no tolerance for fools, and I've let go of seriously let go of some connections with broader social circle alliances and friends over the last year during the eclipse cycle since last June, when the North-South node started out there. You know, letting go of your own hopes, dreams, and wishes, like surrender some of you Aquarians, like let go. It's time to revise what you wish for yourself. You know, I'm thinking I might go into a creative writing direction again, wrote award-winning poetry and published award-winning literary short fiction and wrote screenplays and won a screenplay award. And I might go back in that direction over the next decade. And I might actually do that as a new hope, dream, and wish. As I do my astrology, but you know, it's something that's percolating. So a lot of Aquarians are in that mode of re-envisioning their life and letting go of the old vision. Now, romance is definitely called for in the next 6 months. There's no doubt about it. So a lot of you guys are going to be romantically engaged and all of that over the next 6 months. Watch out for deceptions in the money story. Now, it's your second house. This is your earnings and the money and possessions you have through the vocation and voice you have in the world. You've been a little foggy there for the last 2011. I can tell you, I've been pretty foggy. It took me, a long time until 2018 to figure out what business I wanted to do. I took B school in 2014. It wasn't until 2018 when I decided to become a full-time astrologer instead of not do that. I have been an astrologer for years, but not as a career, full-time career, that I got clarity and started to create significant money and enjoy my career again. And so a lot of you Aquarians are similarly also having had to deal with that fog in the money house, especially with career earnings and salary and all that. And this deception, a house can't deceive you, the house of money or whatever earnings. A person can deceive you. So foggy, deceptive people, watch out for them when it comes to money. It could be something as simple as someone doesn't pay you and they promised they would for something you did. Just be careful around the earnings and the money story regarding someone who may propose something to you for financial gain that you have to really inspect or double down on. Be very cautious around that story. Now, lastly, but not leastly, if you want to win something like a lottery or place a bet on a horse or something weird like that, or go to the casino, I'm not a financial advisor. And certainly be careful that you don't spend any gambling money beyond your means. This is not a promise. This is a possibility. This fifth house can bring that kind of lucky speculative windfall. So it is an eclipse in June that opens a gateway and a portal to that possibility, especially with Mercury there. Okay. And it's Mercury retrograde. Go back and do something you've done before. Like if you've always played the Powerball, do it again. If you always, like me, bought a Heroes Home Lottery ticket, do it again. Do things you've done before. If you've never been to a casino and Mercury retrogrades to try to bring you some good financial breakthrough with luck, it's doubtful it'll happen. Oh my God, I'm in this chair. I have to stretch, guys. Oh my God. Okay, and let's move to the last but not leastly of them all, the Pisces sun, moon, and ascendant. Okay, guys. Well, this is one of you guys are like Sag and Virgo and Gemini. You're one of them that's getting the heavy duty energy of this. And particularly for you Pisces folk who are born with your ascendant or sun or moon anywhere in the 16 to the 21st degree-ish of the sign of Pisces. This is definitely squaring, the eclipse are squaring that part of your chart. So there's a lot of intensity for you on this June 10th eclipse. And if you're born between the 5th and the 15th of, I'm having one of those moments, 5th to the 15th of March, this is important for you, okay? This is likely your sun, if your sun is between, if you're born, around the 5th to the 15th of the month of March, that Pisces sun folk are getting a lot of energy from this eclipse as well. Now, pay attention to your real estate, your home, the house you live in. There's a lot going on here. North Node moved here in June 20, late May, early June 2020, here till spring of 20. Energy is still active here until the spring of 22. I think some of you are moving. I think some of you are renovating, expanding your home, that kind of thing. Now my phone is ringing. Hang on, in case it's important. Okay, back to work. Sorry about that. It's just with my daughter. I'm always on call for my daughter. I'm like a doctor with a pager, right? My North Node going through my 5th house. It wasn't her. It was somebody else. All right, solar eclipse. Back to you guys. So your home, your real estate, some of you are going to buy or sell real estate. There's no doubt about it. And the opportunity is going to come up between now and let's say December 4th. New beginnings in home, new beginnings in real estate. Now, some of you might renovate your home, add to your home, expand your home, decorate your home. Could be that stuff too. A lot of prosperity is available to you from your home base with Rigel and Capella blessing this eclipse. And you could be very successful financially from the home, either because you're working in your home or from your home or because you're selling your home. A good money luck regarding home. This is the house of the mother and the ancestors. So maybe your mom is helping you physically, like giving you money that you need, or maybe something out of your ancestral line, thematically and energetically supporting prosperity from home. Now, time to soften up on the career energy, like the 10th house for some of you Pisces, maybe you're going to leave your job or let go of your work or move away from your work. Okay. And, you know, the 4th house is a house that can often bring inheritances. For some Pisces, there's going to be some spousal money that comes to them, or inheritance as well, that allows them to release from the work story and surrender a bit and be more excited about where they live and their home they're in. Some of the Pisces sun, moon, and ascendants need to be careful for self-deception, right? Neptune in your 1st house. I mean, you're confused about you since 2011, and you've been foggy. Maybe health problems that you've had have been foggy and hard to figure out and heal. But, you know, you have to watch that you don't deceive yourself, and you don't, you know, put your rose-colored glasses on about the situation regarding this home environment. Okay, just like, I don't know how that looks. I really don't, but you may be very careful that you don't delude yourself regarding something to do with home, real estate, and all of that. Like, you know, I'll make an example like, oh yes, I could live in this 1-bedroom apartment with my sister on the sofa. I don't know, it just came to me. That won't work probably, but you'll delude yourself that it will. You definitely, though, it's not about someone taking advantage of you. It's your own misperception that can be a problem. So keep that in mind. And you know, my feeling here is that of course, not every Pisces rising in the world, it's more for Pisces rising is going to change their home. But I'm telling you, there's something changing in the home if you don't change your home. So this is a very domestic, private life changes that are very positive for you are coming up over the next 6 months. Yay. All right, that's it. I'm done. Wait, oh no, maybe not. The 4th house is homeland too, right? Like, what's your homeland? Where do you feel at home? Maybe you may change homelands, not just homes. Some of you, not all of you. All right, that's it, guys. I'm finally done. Thank you for listening to the eclipse forecast. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Ciao, ciao. Mwah.